Hello everybody. So as you can see, I'm back here in Toronto from spending 3 weeks in Costa Rica in the Osa Peninsula in a little remote village called Brazos de Rio Tigre. The Rio Tigre being a river that ran through the village and which bordered the Corcovado rainforest. And for the most part that I was there, 95 to 98% of the time I was fruitarian, simply because I didn't have a means of cooking my own food, and the restaurants there really sucked. I found, and the language barrier too, hard to communicate you're vegan, in these restaurants, to try to communicate to them that you don't eat animal products whatsoever. They kind of, they have a puzzled look on their face and they really don't know what to do about it. Now, I did manage to get a vegan pizza at one place, and that was pretty nice. And at another place, I got a vegan spaghetti dish in a very basic tomato sauce with a little bit of olive oil, and that was quite nice too. But I didn't want to eat that all the time, so I just basically settled for eating fruit because the fruit there was really good. And what was really nice the time that I was there, that was in season, and it was the ramutans. Tons of ramutans. There was like guys selling them off the back of their truck. You could buy a big bag like that for $2 US. And whereas here, the same amount would probably cost at least $15 to $20. So I was just stuffing my face with ramutans, a lot of mangoes, bananas, pineapples, passion fruit, had a lot of passion fruit. The passion fruit there was different than the passion fruit that I'm used to buying at the Asian stores here in Toronto. The ones here I actually like better. They're from, I guess, Thailand or wherever, and they're sweeter. The ones in Costa Rica are more citrusy, I find, but they were still really good. And there was one place that actually sold passion fruit smoothies, and they would just put the whole passion fruits without the skin in the blender with some water and ice and blend it up with the seeds and everything too, and they would all just break up into little pieces, and very refreshing. It was a real treat because it was quite hot there, like between 30 and 35 degrees on average, and very humid. It is the rain season right now in Costa Rica, and in that area especially. And so yeah, you can't walk 100 feet without sweating profusely. That was kind of starting to wear on me too, always having damp clothes and always feeling kind of grungy and dirty. It didn't matter how many times I showered, and where I was staying, there was no hot water, so it was always a cold shower. I mean, it was a basic place. I was paying 20 bucks a night, right? I mean, you can't expect much for that. It actually used to be a brothel back in the 80s that catered to the gold miners. There's apparently a lot of gold in the area, and to this day you still get locals that their livelihood from generation to generation has been just panning gold in the Rio Tigre, and it's kind of neat watching them do it. It's hard work, and they may make 20 bucks, 30 bucks, or maybe 40 bucks in a day panning gold. And that's like a full day's work basically. But anyhow, different world altogether. It's like going back 100 years or something like that. Like there's even, guys riding horses on, saddle and that kind of stuff. Like, it's kind of neat, but yet at the same time, you'll see them with their cell phones, and they have Wi-Fi out there, and they have their televisions. You'll go into a local's home, the floor is made out of dirt, and they've got a widescreen TV. So this kind of bizarre contrast between the old world and the new world. It just shows you how cheap technology is, because the people out there don't have much money, but they can afford a cell phone and a television, and they can afford to get connected. So it's interesting, that all of that stuff. But I'm glad to be back I mean, I actually was considering buying property out there. That was one of the reasons why I went out to that area. And but you know, it's more complicated than what it first seems. The property I was looking at buying was about 28 acres, and it had a house on there, 2,000 square feet, and it was being used by the locals as a tourist office. And so they didn't want to give that up, and for me to go in and buy that land and then boot them out would not have made me the most likable guy on the street, so to speak. So I just didn't want to get, and we were trying to work out, you know, well, I could lease them the house and I'd build myself something further back up in the hills in the jungle kind of thing. But it didn't, none of that, you know, I didn't want to share that with anybody. So and there was other properties there as well that I could get like for $35,000, but there was no titles on them. So all you're buying is the right of possession, and don't ever get sucked into that. Have a title. You have to have a title on the property. There's no other way about it, or you could get yourself into a lot of problems. I mean, right of possession, anybody can challenge that, and then you'll find yourself in court for years fighting that challenge. And if you want to get a title, it also takes years to get a title on the property. And then just talking to other people that had bought properties that were from the north, that had lived in the area for a while. They wanted out. They wanted to sell their properties, and they wanted to get away. They had enough of living there in Costa Rica. So it seems like a romantic idea, you know, and you think you go there for vacation. I love this place because it is a beautiful place to go, you know, on a vacation to, and get in touch with nature, you know, the jungle, the wildlife, all of that, right? The marine life as well. But you know, stay there for a while and get a real feel for it. Get away, you know, don't stay in some fancy resort. Live like the locals do. Get a feel for what it's really like, and all the challenges, the daily challenges of living there, like the unpredictable weather and all of that stuff. And then you'll really get a sense of whether, and it doesn't take very long to figure out whether you really would like to be there for you know, maybe the rest of your life. It only took me a couple of weeks to figure out that, nah, I don't want that. You know, this is a great place to visit. I don't think I want to live here for the rest of my life. I love city life. I love the culture that is in the city, the arts, the entertainment, the places I can go, the things I can do, the comforts, the luxury, all of that stuff I love. I have to totally confess, I love all that. But I also love, you know, the nature stuff of it as well, but in doses. I just can't see myself being like a wilderness kind of guy, you know, and living out in the land, and yeah. But, you know, I toyed with the idea, and for now I'm dropping it. I don't think that's me. But the experience, the jungle experience is awesome. The hikes, like in that area, the trails are pretty rugged. It's a lot more mountainous terrain than where I was staying back in March. And so that was quite exciting. I would definitely go back again and do some serious hiking in the Corcovado rainforest, because I just love that jungle. It's, I don't know. Anyhow, so that, you know, there's a lot that happened in my vacation, more than what I'm, you know, could talk about in this video. But it was definitely an education, and but I'm glad to be back home and to be able to prepare healthy vegan dinners and to have more control over what I'm eating. So that's basically all I have to say for now. Take care, and have a great evening.